does the committee have, and do your members have any idea of when your alternative report will actually come out, and if any other and how many people are actually cooperating with with Mr. Banks's alternative investigation?
So if you're asking if we've already have on Amazon for people to purchase the report and the date, no, I know, but that's what the Democrats have. So I mean, if you're wondering if ours is going to be political like that, no, but our report will come out soon, and we'll let you know when it is. Yes.
Mr. Leader, I mean, you've enumerated your concerns with this committee, but even still, we have seen numerous members from the Trump White House, even some members of the president's own family, former president that is, appear before this committee. So why not testify? Why not be transparent?
Well, let's raise that question, all right? Am I transparent? So the committee asked if I would come talk to them. So I sent them a letter to ask what they want to talk about. They never responded. What they said publicly went out there, they said they wanted to talk about my conversation with the president on January 6th. So on January 6th, when I had that conversation with the president, I then went on 3 networks. One with, I think I was even with you, Jonathan. I had a longer discussion with the American public than my conversation with the president. So there was nothing to be added. To go about, and then the argument of whether you could subpoena members themselves, it purely looks to me like it's political. We sent a letter back, raised a lot of questions about this. Because the first hand that you'd have to realize is, if you go to Quinn Watkins, the Supreme Court has told the Congress about the separations of power. Does the committee have a legitimate legislative purpose? Yes, but we have a separation of powers. The legitimate legislative purpose would be exactly what the Senate bipartisan committee did. They believe they want to be like an attorney general or something. That's why it's done. The committee was passed the rule by Congress to say it would have 13 members. It does not have 13 members. The committee said that they could either have you come in or write you questions. We said we'd answer. They would not do that. The committee says in the setup that they would confer with the ranking member. There is no ranking member because I have not appointed anyone. So there are so many bases of why this political committee does not have a true standing and the basis of where they're going. Think about this for one moment. They hire somebody from ABC who withheld information about Epstein. They knew it, and they still hired it. Are they using taxpayer money for that? They set up watching parties where they give free ice cream. Who's paying for that? The DCCC? They pick prime time when gasoline has doubled since the president's been in. Inflation we have not seen in 41 years. You're flying in goat milk from Australia to try to feed the American babies. Will they bring any of that up? No, it's a political-driven committee. They already have the date set on Amazon to buy it now. Why did they prolong it? Why do they pick daylight? Why are they picking before the election? It's the only thing they have when the American people are hungry to solve so many other problems. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Leader, on guns.
Yes.
There was some heartbreaking testimony yesterday and the day before from families who have suffered devastating losses in the past couple of weeks alone from mass shootings, as you know. And you and many of the members here have advocated for more school safety funding, hardening of schools, looking at mental health. That seems to be something that everyone is talking about. In the Senate, in addition to that, though, there is conversation about what to do to figure out who in this kind of profile that we see of young men especially, how you can figure out who might act violently, how you can flag that.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about your thinking on whether incentives for red flag laws could be helpful in that and what that could look like, including your due process concerns? I know you have those, but is there any kind of red flag incentive that you think would be helpful? And I ask this because families are looking for something more. They agree with what you're saying on schools and mental health, but they want more than that. And what are you willing to do?
I just don't think family. I have a family too. I think everybody in America wants this. I think the devastation we're seeing is horrendous. I actually wish the House would do exactly what the Senate, to sit down and have a discussion. We were back in session on Tuesday at 6:30 and we voted on bills on Wednesday. It's the same thing like the committee. It was a political show. Why would you bring up a red flag bill and not bring anything about due process? And look, don't think it's from Republicans. I was watching Tulsi Gabbard a minute ago on television talking about this as well, who was a Democrat nominee for president. If we are able to find and prevent, everybody's there. There wasn't one mental health place here. There wasn't one discussion ahead of time. There was no time to work together. I was just talking to Senator Cornyn. This is the way to handle it. Find all the facts. You know, I want to highlight Congressman Tony Gonzalez. This is his district. His district has gone through so much. And he's been on the ground there listening to families, listening to what's going on, but it's just like everywhere else. We've watched this tragic situation happen before. You know what we found? A shooting in Texas, another one. This individual came in and shot up a church. The church is back just now like a museum. You know what we found? This individual was in the military, dishonorably discharged, abused his wife, never should have been able to have a weapon. And when we were in the majority, finding those facts, we passed the fixed NICS to make sure that would be on the record. There is a way to go about doing this, and that's sitting down, making sure you're dealing with all the issues at once instead of playing a political game, and unfortunately, that's what Nancy Pelosi chose. And I know from that same point, this is the same speaker that told us the Supreme Court is safe this weekend, but they weren't safe yesterday. And she has a bill on the floor right now that 100% senators voted for that she wouldn't bring. Yes, sir, back there. Yes.
Congressman Davis, all of you on that stage voted against independent commission 9/11 style that was crafted by your own ranking member John Katko to investigate the facts and circumstances of January 6th.
Okay, well, let me explain that to you.
That commission would have been devoid of current politicians and would have required bipartisan buy-in to issue subpoenas.
Okay, on January 12th.
Can you explain why all of you?
Yes. As soon as you're done, I'll explain.
Davis voted against that, and what you all are now doing your own investigation into the 6th. What in your opinion brought all of those rioters to the Capitol on that day?
Okay, so let me answer your question. You say we voted against the commission. On January 12th, we offered the commission and put it on the floor, and every single Democrat voted against it. It was on 9/11. Pelosi wouldn't bring it up, so we sent her a letter 3 months later before she responded. I'm not sure if you'd been into these press conferences before that I do weekly, but we would talk about that week after week. When Nancy Pelosi wanted to negotiate about it, she wanted to eliminate what we could look at. She wanted the scope to be very narrow. In that time while she waited, we lost another officer on the gate over here by a terrorist attack to run over and had a knife. She said we couldn't look at that. We couldn't look at what had happened in America just that short time before, the riots in the streets that have been going over. Riots throughout, riots that were in this city as well. And what she did, I'll answer your question, thank you. And what we did within that process, we wanted to have a 9/11. We wanted to have a scope. We offered it. We put it on the floor. We voted for it. Pelosi played nothing but politics, delayed it. And then when they moved to this equation, we offered people to be on this committee. That's the rules, to select committee to the minority to put people on. For 232 years, that's been the history of this House. But Nancy Pelosi said no. Why? Well, she didn't participate with the Senate bipartisan committee. Maybe she didn't want people to be able to question. It's American history. You look across the street at the Supreme Court. You got that statue of a lady with a blindfold with a scale to be fair, to be equal. She wanted to make sure it was not equal. That she wanted to pick and choose who could be on, that we didn't have the right. Never before in the history it allowed that to be. So no, we didn't participate with her political scam. We offered it 6 days after January 6th, a 9/11 committee. Write it the way it happened.